Now we are here in Washington D.C. and we are at the forum, at the summit, Ukrainian Reconstruction Summit. So we're here with Gary and with the soldiers of Azov, and we would like to, first of all, actually say thank you very much.
Thank you.
From the bottom of our heart that you defend Ukraine and you paid and you sacrifice, and it's been a lot. I cannot even express that, the words are words, but I truly feel that, entire the Ukrainian nation is really grateful to you. And the international community also grateful to you because you defend Ukraine, you defend Europe, you defend the entire world. Because we do know what is going on, we do know what is happening, and we truly appreciate you. So I would like to start with the question. Actually, you're part of the summit, right? So you're part of the organizers of this summit. Why you decided to make it happen? I mean, it's obvious, but why it's important, and what does it mean, the partnership for you? How it's actually become real to make it happen, this summit?
Because I believe, and the people who organize this summit, we believe that this war will come to an end. It will come to an end, but the problems will not. There will be problems with the veterans, there will be problems with the economy, and we have to rebuild Ukraine, with all of us, not just Ukrainians, not just Americans, but all of us together in a partnership. So we have to prepare. We have to look forward and find out what problems we're going to be facing after the war, or during the ceasefire at least. And it is clear that it is men like this, or actually they're still boys, that will rebuild. They will be part of Ukraine. They will not leave. They will not pull back. They will continue to fight for the country that they love, for the country that they swore the allegiance to, and for the country that they have paid such a huge price, not by only losing their health and their limbs and their eyesight, but also by losing their brothers in arms in the battlefield against evil, against pure evil of this world. And this is why I think it is very important, not only for us civilian people to think, but also to realize that our country, the United States, in the 50s and 60s was also rebuilt after World War II by the veterans, by the president who was in the war himself. His brother got killed, President Kennedy, President Eisenhower, but also the congressmen, the senators, the governors, they were all veterans. And I think this is, I believe, I know that this is the future of Ukraine. These are the people that are going to build the Ukraine. They're not corrupt, they're pure, and they're brave, and they're very, very smart. Even by the call sign Wikipedia, you know that this is a guy smart, and by call sign Schastie, happiness, you know that it's going to be a smart, happy country. They will rebuild it.
I will address now question to our amazing veterans. So this summit is actually dedicated to the topic of recovery and the future of Ukraine. So you yourself, how do you see the future of Ukraine?
For me, this summit is very hard meeting because during these days we must solve a lot of problems. War still exists. We don't finish this war. We don't win in this war yet. But we need to decide a lot of questions here. How to win, how to finish this war, what do after war. Because you tell that we fight not only for Ukraine, we fight for all civilization world. And very important to Ukrainians understand that we are already part of this civilization world. So we haven't another way. We must to be part of this world. It's not only for us, for Ukrainians. It's for all Europe. It's for all
Humanity.
Not humanity, it's like all side for good. It's important. So now we try to find a ways how to make a connection between different parts of our culture, different parts of our infrastructure, how to rebuild infrastructure, how to change infrastructure in Ukraine, how to give our experience for building infrastructure. Because just for example, infrastructure in Ukraine now maybe it's the most differential infrastructure in the world, so decentralized. And it's important. If another world wants to be prepared for any wars, for any some terroristic acts, they must to use experience of Ukraine in infrastructure. We met the head of firefighters in the United States here, and as for me, for experience, firefighters in Ukraine, they have so many experience how to work under attacks during a long time. So it's very important. Ukraine must stand, and we must to give our experience to another countries. So we must rebuild not only Ukraine. We must to rebuild a lot of sides of this world, and we must do it together. So.
Thank you so much. And I wanted also to address the question to you, Gary, because, you were the ones who started actually to support Ukraine back then from 2014. And you came from the United States to Ukraine and supported till this day and did a lot of things like so much help, really. So could you share your vision? What moves you so much to...
Actually, it was by sheer accident. I lost the best friend, and I did not know what to do. I went to Israel, I went to the Wailing Wall, and I was talking to God, and I looked down and I saw a little note to God. Somebody wrote a note to God, say, pray for Ukraine. And I said, you know what? Their fight is not fair. It's not a fair fight. And I've been to Russia. I worked in Russia. I served there, and I knew what the Russians are capable of. And I had experience with the KGB. I knew what thugs there are. And I said, this is not going to be a good fight. So I'm going to go. And I knew one soldier that was wounded in Donetsk. He was a kiborg. And I took him to the United States to Dr. Chernak. She's a saint. And she treated, he got some treatment, and I came back. And then all of a sudden, I found out that Ukrainian warriors are real fighters. They're true fighters, and they're not going to pull back. It's not going to be enough to kill them. You also have to put them down. They were not going to back out of it, and then I became part of them, and and they were like my children because they're age of my kids who are also in the military. And I said, it could be my children that are fighting, and it very well could be that my children will end up in this fight. If we will not be able to make sure that these guys can stand and continue. And these two are an example of it, but there are thousands, I think, of Ukrainian young people that even though they're wounded, even though, doesn't have an eye, doesn't have a leg and an arm, they say, we're going to go back and fight. They're not going to disengage from this fight. And somebody who spent 30 years in the military, say, you can't let these people down. You can't let them die like that. I'm going to be standing with them regardless of politics, regardless of presidents. I personally, and I know a lot of Americans like me in my community, who will stand with these people, who will stand with these Ukrainian heroes in a real sense of heroism, because even though that they could have left, they were wounded, they went back into a fight, they did not disengage, and they're still continuing to want to go back into the fight. And this is what I think, why they are the future. They're the future politicians, they're the future business people, they're the future educators and professors of Ukraine. And I would not be in Ukraine if I did not believe that Ukraine is going to be central. This war is going to make Ukraine stronger and braver and brighter, and it's going to be the leader of the European community. But I went to Ukraine for one day in 2014, just one day, go get one soldiers and go get out. And now 12 years later, 15 years, 11 years later, I'm still there.
Thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
The whole world needs to thank these guys. These guys and their comrades, their brothers in arms, that's who we need to thank. Non-stop, day and night, day and night.
What is it for you, maybe we can start from you. What is Ukraine for you?
Ukraine is my motherland, so it wasn't my choice, but it's my honor to be a soldier of Ukraine, to be a veteran of Ukraine. Now I understand in my life better than before it. So now for me it's not just a piece of land, it's not just a point on a map, so it's more than, it's even more than me. First of all, it's a people. I serve in Mariupol, this guy from Mariupol, and it's hard to explain, but I love people of Ukraine more than my life, because it's not because I must do this. Maybe it's because I see thousands of people who was killed by Russians. So now it's not just a business, it's my personal, and I cannot stop. I haven't this way, so I just need to find a way how to be more useful for Ukraine, because it's more than me.
A lot of people thank us for helping them, but in reality, we're not helping them. They're helping us. They're helping you. They're helping me. Even psychologically, they're helping. I'm honored that these warriors have accepted me to be part of them. And I think that this is how the community is measured, by how the veterans accept the community for the one that they fought for. So it is my honor to be in their company, in the company of this bright, brave young man. Again, I will not be tired to say they're the future of Ukraine.
One more question just come to my mind, because we did have interviews with Pastor Burns.
Yes.
And he did speak today on the stage, and he delivered a very powerful message, and he stayed for the actually human rights, for religious liberty across the world. By what he said about Ukraine and the experience he has got, that he has been told before he got into Ukraine, before he's seen everything by his own eyes. He himself said that he was a victim of the Russian propaganda. He was the victim and listening to that in Ukraine there is no freedom, there is no religious liberty, that here is the dictatorship and tyranny and so on and so forth. And that's what he himself delivered. But then he said, but then I get into Ukraine and I seen everything by my own eyes, and I got it. It's totally opposite. And that's here we see how much is this powerful Russian propaganda and the role of the propaganda, and how much is that important to bring the messages and really show what's going on in Ukraine, really. And that's what is thanks to you, because you are the ones who helped actually to bring people to see what's on the land, what is really happening. And what Mark Burns seen is that all the religious liberty, having prayer breakfast in Ukraine, sharing, they have differences.
Yes.
That's fine,
Yeah, well, it wasn't our idea. The thing is, propaganda does work, but the propaganda has to also work in Ukraine. And Israelis did that. Whenever there were politicians or people of influence, or journalists, famous journalists, policemen, congressmen, senators, anybody of influence who spoke badly about Israel, Israelis would invite them in and say, let us show you Israel, let us show you our soldiers, let us show you this. And the people were coming back to the United States being Zionists. They became very pro. So we kept saying, we kept insisting, do not badmouth these people. Do not attack them. Invite them. And Rabbi Osman and I and several other people, we went to Tucker Carlson and said, come see Ukraine. What you're saying is not right. Didn't work out. So we went to a lot of people like that. And then we came to Mark Burns, which to me at first I was said, listen, he's a black reverend. What does he has to do, with Ukraine? Yes, he's MAGA. Yes, he's very pro. He's a black community that he leads is pro-Trump, and my community is pro-Trump, and what we call Russian-speaking community, which is including Ukrainians, post-Soviet. We say invite these people. Do not fight them. So, out of the blue, I never would have thought that Reverend Burns would agree. Always says, Ukraine, I'll come to Ukraine. I'll see it for myself. I'm not going to... Again, maybe because he comes from a community that was oppressed and was attacked as well, unfairly judged by the world. He doesn't trust just because somebody says, Jews are bad or gypsies or Ukrainians are Nazis, Azovs are not. He comes in, we take him, we show him, and now he's a Shir Ukrainets. Now he's in Vyshyvanka walking around the Congress talking. In front of me, he texted to President Trump. It must have been 4 o'clock in the morning in the States. And then he gets back, President Trump. He says, no, he says, President, this is not how it is. And this is the thing. The propaganda has to work both ways. Russians, very good at it. They're very, very good at it. They convince many people. For example, we had a huge tragedy in my country now because Charlie Kirk got murdered like this in cold blood in front of his children, in front of his wife. I mean, a lot of people are very upset about it. It's like Martin Luther King's assassination. So in my country. And from Ukraine, we get a lot of Americans are sending it to me. Look what the Ukrainians are saying. Look what they're happy about. This. What do the Russians do? They come out and they said, we feel bad for you. We feel bad for American people. We're with you. We hope you find the killer. We hope by law and order you would judge him in a court of law. And all the Americans are saying, what, Russians are not so bad. Look, they understand our pain. And the Ukraine. So this has to change. It is your job as a journalist to turn this around, to bring these Americans in, to deliver saying, no, what you're saying, the way you see Ukrainians is wrong. You're falling for Russian propaganda, and we're not going to be cooperates with this. We're not going to help you to do that. So
Thank you so much for this explanation and for this example, because that's what I personally, for me, it's a big thing.
Yeah, because look, do you think Russians really feel bad? They probably never heard of the man at the Kirk. But as soon as they got the vibe from United States, oh, look at that, Ukrainians are celebrating his death. This is what we get in the media there. This is what gets interpreted into American media.
Somebody been told that.
Yeah, the Russians come out right away and they're saying, oh, you know what, we feel for you, like that. And they turn American people against Ukrainians. So we need to work on it. We need to work on it very, very hard. And it is, I think, responsibility of many journalists in Ukraine.
And I think also, just to add a little bit, usually when everybody who's saying such things, celebrating somebody's death and stuff, usually there are just a couple of people, to be honest, not that much, but they're very loud.
Yes,
but absolutely. Those who are not supporting,
absolutely.
as they're just kind of quiet. But it's also
absolutely.
A voice.
I go to my community, to American community, to my military community, and I say, no, what you see on TV is wrong. Come to Ukraine, because this is my Ukraine. These people that came to this summit. These people that came to the summit, this man right there, he's standing there. They're heroes. They're my Ukrainian heroes. He was a very, successful businessman. He was a good IT guy. And then he goes and volunteers at the beginning of the war, and he fights, and he leads, and he's an officer. So this is completely different to what is shown to American public and to the Western world from Ukraine. These are the Ukrainians that I know, and the ones that we see in America are totally different. I don't know these Ukrainians. Why they're not? But American public thinks that Ukrainians are against us. They hate President Trump. They hate our Congress. They hate our journalists. They hate our. And I said no. But we need to bring more people like that. That's why we need to come here. We need to work on it, and it's a huge job because it's also a war. It's a war, exactly. And we get hurt. Journalists get killed. Yep. Honest, brave journalists. It's a very dangerous job, just like soldiering. They get killed. They get hurt. They get fired. So it is. But we need to work on it. We need to continue and fight and not disengage from it.
I really like your point because it's really like it's bring the role of the media and the propaganda and all together, and it's a real war in the informational space. Right. And we gotta do it
today because of internet, because of things like Facebook, YouTube. It's an informational war, and it's very, very hard to control.
But we also have access to it, right? So we gotta recruit more people. That's true. Thank you very much. I don't know if you.
If you'd like, perhaps you could say something. We're at the summit today, discussing the future of Ukraine. First of all, we'd like to say a sincere thank you for defending us. Kindest regards to you, and words fail to express our gratitude.
We do what we can and what we must.
I'd like to ask you, how do you envision the future of Ukraine after the war? What would you like to see in Ukraine?
First and foremost, as a representative of the National Council of Military Veterans, I believe that before we begin reconstructing Ukraine, we need to help the people who are returning from the front. It's our main task. It's our vision that we are implementing. If people return, they will rebuild their country. That's what I believe. This is the most important task we are currently pursuing.
What does Ukraine mean to you personally?
It's my homeland. It's my life. That's why I went to war, to fight for my life, for my family, for my people, and for my land.
Thank you so much for that. Do you have any other message? What would you like to say to the international community?
First of all, I want to thank all the people who care about Ukraine, like Gary, who's doing everything he can for Ukraine out of his own will. I also want to express my gratitude to the people of the United States, who've been helping us from the very beginning and continue to do so in such difficult times. And most importantly, I want to say that it's crucial for everyone to stand united now. To unite against the aggressor, against the war, and against all the terrible things happening in our country. If we are united, we will win. If not, we will lose everywhere.
I want to add something. I say that if we did not believe that Ukraine has a future, bright future, this summit would not be happening. So all the people that are here that are taking part in it, starting with Brock Pierce, with Dr. Burns, and Alex, Isha, George, all these people, and about another dozen of people that worked so hard to make this summit happen. If we didn't believe in Ukraine, we wouldn't be doing it.
That's a big hope.
This is a great hope for all of us. And I truly agree with you. If we stand together, it will definitely happen.
We will win, and we will live.
And that is the most important thing.
So as far as I understand, that Rabbi Osman also supposed to be here.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, he was supposed to be here, but his plan was actually changed. There were some things that happened, and he had to go and see some important people, which he made a decision. There were a lot of conversation, let's say, between all of us, but a rabbi made a very good command decision, and he says, yes, it would be a very good photo opportunity for him, it would be very good exposure for him, but there was more important thing for him to go and to discuss future of Ukraine with very influential people. So he says, you take my part, you do the things, but I'm going to go do the soldier's job and fight in the trench. So Rabbi Asman decided against our advice to go and fight at the different front for Ukraine, which is probably at his own expense. He could have been here and he could have been meeting all these people, and he could have been on TV and in the papers, but he chose to do something because I guess he knows that God is watching, and he's got to do the right stuff at the right time and continue to be on the right side of history.
That's, when we talked to Pastor Burns, and we've seen, that actually Rabbi Asman actually invited him
Yes.
to Ukraine. And what I also, saw the social media and tried to, read it and stuff, and I saw how Rabbi Asman also wrote a song
Yes, his
for
son got
Donald
killed,
Trump.
yeah.
And show everything. And that's touched me personally so much.
Right.
And I think that's something which is very important to do. Even Rabbi Asman is not here, but I would like,
But
to bring this up.
He's here in our spirit, and he has many friends here. And he organized a meeting between Pastor Burns and mothers and wives of Azov prisoners. And I wouldn't even call them prisoners of war. They're prisoners, treated like prisoners, not POWs, against the Geneva Convention. And the mothers were saying, we're not racist. Our sons are not racist. They're not Nazis. And Pastor Burns said, yes, I know. And I even pointed out, I said, how could there be racists? How could there be Nazis? They're talking to a black man in Kiev in the synagogue. So that was, again, we need to do more of these things. The reason is because I'm showing this example, how we have to change people's view and opinions of Ukraine, of Azov, of Kraken, of the Ukrainian soldiers, brave leaders like that. And this is what we need to promote.
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for this event. Thank you for coming here and spread the voice out, because I do know we do a lot. We speak a lot. We advocate a lot. But when they hear you,
we fight a lot.
And
These guys fight. They're fighting.
Yeah, I know you are a fighter. But at the same time, even once you come for a while here,
And
they
Rabbi
also
Asman
need to
is
see
a
it,
fighter
you know.
too. Rabbi Asman is a fighter too, and he's a great ambassador of Ukraine in Israel and the United States.